السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. YouTube, كيف الحال يا YouTube? How are you doing, brother and sister? Brother and sister in Islam, how are you? I'm sorry, I'm so late. I have many things do. I do those things. Part of those things was I ask wife, please make PowerPoint presentation of all of the responses you're receiving. Oops. PowerPoint presentation. And she had loads of responses on her story, which is very interesting actually. I realized there is the responses that my wife received, although they were all anonymous responses, I don't think I would have received those responses just by virtue of me being a man. But because she's a woman and she has sisters following her, they just opened up, even though she has no clue who they are. We don't know who these sisters are. All right. But oh brother, you are exposing sin. Fear Allah, taqillah. Allahumma ja'alna min al-muttaqeen. But I'm not exposing no one's sin. Oh, am I exposing sins? Am I? Oh, okay. So who's the sister? Who's the sister? And you know what? Let's address this. Actually, I think there's a great element of immaturity amongst some of you. Now, I have to bear in mind the fact that majority of my audience are between the ages of 18 and 20 to 25, and 25 to 30 something, 32. But 18 to 25 is a large demographic. So obviously, you guys are a little bit more immature, and you have a bit of a knee-jerk response when you see things like as you see in the thumbnail, when you see comments such as the comments that you see in the thumbnail. So you got a bit of an immature response, if I'm honest with you. But if I'm gonna make excuses for you, it would be that you're young, or you're just completely out of touch with this side to women. Now, I have a theory, and there is no way I can prove this theory at this moment in time, but the theory goes as follows, okay? And you guys will make your own conclusions as we go through the PowerPoint presentation I'm about to bring up and address all the anonymous responses that were received. Now, I've seen some of them, and I haven't seen others. And I asked my wife to compile the presentation so that you could catch my reaction raw. Okay, so I didn't see them beforehand. But one thing is this: is that number one, in the Muslim community, we don't like to talk about sex in general. And then number two, we definitely don't want to acknowledge or give oxygen to the fact that maybe some of our Muslim sisters actually enjoy sex. They actually enjoy the acts of sex. Lo and behold, subhanAllah, who'd have thought? What a strange thing. Losers, honestly, flipping losers, bruv. And you know, it's funny because I got so many responses from you brothers saying, "Oh no, bro, this must be brothers trolling you. There's no way this is real." And one of the sisters got so upset that you donuts were saying this that she wrote some long qissa, some long 6-page response as to why she herself is the way that she is, and other Muslim women are as well. So, firstly, it's difficult for them to actually come out. Okay, not come out. You know what I mean? To actually make this confession, albeit an anonymous one. And then once they actually do tell you that, listen, actually, you know what? I do like the act of being degraded, or I do like being slapped up, or I do whatever. Then they're told that, no, this can't be real. There's no way this is real. Infuriating. And this will only push sisters more in that direction. And the theory that I have goes as follows. I postulate, I'm sounding very pish posh right now. I hypothesize, okay? My theory goes as follows for my thesis, that Muslim women are more sexually curious and adventurous than women from other religions or cultures. Let me make that a bit more expansive. Not just Muslim women, women who are raised in cultures or religions or traditions whereby she is encouraged to be submissive, quiet, not to express herself too much, and so on. This sounds negative, the way that I'm expressing it. I hope you understand what I'm saying, okay? It's not like sexual liberation, women can do whatever they want, and so on. And the reason why I have my theory is that women who are raised in this type of environment are more sexually curious is precisely because they don't have an outlet to vent this side of themselves. Okay, they don't have an outlet to actually vent this side. So it builds up and builds up and builds up and becomes even more extreme and severe in some cases. And I was speaking to one revert brother who was both experienced with women before he became Muslim and after he became a Muslim. And he said to me, hands down, the most sexually curious and adventurous women he has ever come across are Muslim women. And I asked him a question. I said to him, any particular cultures at all? Any particular like culture or country of women whereby they're like this? He said to me, all of them, the lot of them, they're bonkers. Astaghfirullah. And there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. But he said to me, they are way more sexually curious and adventurous en masse than women who are liberated. And this kind of makes sense if you think about it. Why? Because the so-called liberated women, she's expressing herself all day long. She's putting naked pictures of herself online. She's doing whatever. So when she comes home to her husband, she's basically finished, or her boyfriend. There's like, she has nothing left to offer him. She's already expressed that side to herself online or in the workplace or wherever. So, and again, I'm trying to tread tentatively here because I know we're going to go into a minefield at this point, but I see there being a lot of positives in this. There's a lot of benefits in this. Who doesn't want a wife who is sexually curious and adventurous? What do you want, bruv? A flipping bag of rice? A bag of couscous? What do you prefer? This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. All right, let's do a bit of housekeeping first of all before we continue. All right, before we get into this presentation. So we've got 111 of you in here right now. My bad, 120. And only 25 likes. So do your boy a solid and make sure you like the video. Barakallahu fikum. I will only be interrupting this stream initially to answer super chats. Any questions you may have, you put them in a super chat. Otherwise, we continue as usual. All right. I will not be stopping whilst I'm doing this PowerPoint presentation, inshallah. We'll be running straight through it. So anyway, that's my theory. That's my theory. And we'll see how this plays out. Now, I want you guys to brace yourself. Okay, please. Hold on to your seat, hold on to your horses, grab your chair tight, because we're about to go on a rough ride, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. All right. Some of the comments you are about to see me read out to you may blow your mind. You may well be very surprised, shocked, maybe even offended. How can a Muslim woman think like this? Astaghfirullah. Behave yourself, bro. She's a human being. What did you think, that she's not going to be a human being? Come on, man. Honestly. So, without further ado, let's do this. Bilal, if you could put your camera off, please, bro. I'm going to be bringing people later on, inshallah ta'ala. Let's share this. Bismillah. Share. Okay. All right. You guys ready for this, yeah? I don't think you guys are ready for this, to be honest with you. Bas yallah. Let's do this. All right. Okay. You guys can see that, right? Yeah, you guys can see that. All right, let's get into this. Yeah, you can see that nice and clear. All right, this is the first one we're going to do. I'm into role play and I'm fantasizing, I think she meant to say, wearing the jilbab whilst my husband, fill in the blank, does me, basically. Okay? Would this be allowed? Having intercourse whilst wearing the hijab? It's the idea of being naked under it and being slutty that turns me so much on. That sister, sorry, your grammar very bad. That turn me so much on. Not turn me so much on. Turn me on so much. Please, sister, very offended now. You're right, bad grammar. Okay? No bad grammar, please. Is there anything wrong with this, guys? This is light. This is like I'm just bloodying you into it. Khalas, yani, whatever. I get it. I understand. It's the juxtaposition of covering and modesty with nudity and sexualness. It's that juxtaposition, those two extremes that make it such an interesting. Khalas, yani, do what you want. I don't see the issue in it. All right, next one. I'm a practicing sister and I'm divorced. And I'd like to know how to be sure that sexually I'll be a match as well. I like dominant men and I'm into submission. I like to be very submissive and, let's say, slutty in bed. How can I be sure the brother I want to marry shares the same sexual desires? Well, you know what, sister? I'm going to answer your question by telling you I'm not too sure, bruv. Because judging by the comments in the chat that I saw earlier and on my video from yesterday, it looks like a lot of brothers are not going to take too well to this. In fact, they might not even believe that you're like this, that you are inclined this way in the first place. Astaghfirullah, brother Mahdi. How can you revealing the sin of the sister? You are so bad. Please, bro. Where's my slap? And again.
This is haram.
No, it's not. Be quiet, Tate. Talking nonsense.
Go wash your ass.
Yes. غسل طيزك. Wallah. All right. So I don't know how to help you there, sister. But yani, let's carry on. Unsexy when a man is saying nice things to me during intimacy. Wow. Wow. Just not for me. I need it rough and hard. And I think there's nothing wrong with it as long as both are enjoying it. Okay. Is it true that women sometimes want intimacy rough and quick and not very intimate, to be treated like a piece of meat? Oh, now we're going to go down the rabbit hole. Now this is where a lot of brothers are going to start to get pretty triggered. Okay. There is something called a degradation kink. Okay. And you would think that this type of description where a woman is basically saying she wants to be used and abused. That's what she's saying. She wants to be used and abused. Is there anything wrong with it? Well, you know, if you had asked me this 5 years ago, I would have definitely said there's something pathological, something going on, with something wrong with you. Now, obviously, I have a lot more experience with women, dealing with different types of women from all ages. Okay, not just those who've had many husbands or have an extensive or expansive sexual history. Many women, virgins, young girls, not young girls, but you know what I'm saying, like late teens. And I was shocked with the number of young sisters who can relate to this kink. They have some type of affinity towards being used, literally as a piece of meat. For want of a better word, as a sperm receptacle. They get off on it. Now, does that mean that they want that all the time? No, it doesn't mean that. But certainly a good amount of the time, she wants to be used. Why? And now you're going to say, oh, brother, this sister, she is for the streets. Brother, no good. She is haram. Astaghfirullah. No, bro. A lot of these sisters are quite normal. Never been married before. Virgins. And still they have this. I don't know why. Maybe there's something that happened in their childhood. Is it trauma? I don't know. Speaking to the wrong person. All I know is that there is a significant enough number of women, not just sisters, number of women who can relate to this. Do you understand? Shout out to Sebastian for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it, my man. My biggest fear in marriage is a dry bedroom. Biggest fear, my dream is a sexually open-minded lady in a halal relationship. Well, alhamdulillah. Well, you're going to see, Sebastian, today that a lot of sisters can relate to this comment here. Okay? This is the thing now. All right, pay attention to me before we go into the next one. A woman doesn't want to have to tell you what she wants. She wants you to just get it. Now, the next question you're going to ask me is, but Mehdi, how do I know like if she is this way inclined or not? And by the way, before you jump the gun, not all women are this way inclined. I don't know if this is a majority or a minority. I would contest that it's a minority, but it's a significant minority. Okay, it's significant. But not all women are this way inclined. Some women don't like this stuff at all. They don't like this stuff at all. But a lot of them do. And I think a lot of that has to do with how repressed the masculine nature has become these days. Men have been taught to become so repressed, dysfunctional girls. That's how most men are raised today. That women are craving that masculinity to come back to the point now where these extremes are coming out. If men were more manly en masse, I don't think these sorts of kinks would be as common as we see them. But the more repressed men become, the more this fetishization comes about. When I did the when I was on Just Pearly Things live stream, shout out to her. Her channel's blowing up, man, absolutely blowing up. When I was on her live stream a few months back, they had an OnlyFans Boren star on there. Okay, his name was Lee, and Lee told us that the number one request that he gets, so he's an OnlyFans Boren star. Okay, he does stuff on OnlyFans, and the number one request that he gets from his female clientele, because obviously the majority of his clientele are women, are what? Grape scenes. They want to see grape scenes. Why? Why is that? Well, my theory is that the reason why a lot of women fetishize seeing those type of scenes is because publicly they endorse the complete opposite of that. You must ask me, consent. And yes doesn't even mean yes. Just because I said yes doesn't mean it's yes. On and on and on. And so these women become extremely, extremely repressed to the point now where they start fetishizing extreme things like grape scenes. So you can see, like, there are many issues that have resulted in this situation coming about the way that they have, and it has seeped into the Muslim community as well. All right, don't think that we are above and beyond this, because we're not. We live on the same planet. Right, let's continue. Is it true that women sometimes want yeah, okay, we've done that. I'm a sister. Okay, I don't know. I put this up on my story the other day. Check this out, guys. All right, I'm a sister who is the secret second wife. The thing is, the first wife is a very good friend of mine. Oh boy, jeez, ladies, don't look like you can trust your friends, bruv. Man, very good friend of mine, and she has no clue in which relationship me and her husband. I like how she put quote on her, like she doesn't even really believe it's her husband, because actually it's my husband. It's my husband, bitch. That is your husband. I can just hear it in my head right now. He never stays overnight. I have 2 kids from a previous marriage, and I have the best intimacy with him, and I do everything I never did before. Okay, let's continue. Part 2 of this message. With him, I do everything I never did because I was too shy to speak out loud my desires. He just understands me. He degrades me in bed, and I am actually enjoying being his whore in bed, being slapped and degraded. Every time I see him again, I'm excited like a little girl. He's such an alpha. Oof. Now the guys in the chat will be like, Brother Mahdi, this is no way, this is not real. This is brothers trolling you. They are doing the trolling, Mahdi. Not real. I don't know why you are showing. Astaghfirullah, fear Allah. Allahumma ja'alna min al-muttaqeen. What am I doing, yani? I'm trying to open your eyes to reality. I'm trying to show you, yani. The women, they've spoken anonymously because they feel safe, because it's anonymous, right? They can express their real selves because it's anonymous, and you still don't believe them. No wonder why they've got these mad kinks. Abdul Malik, this is great, guys. None of this my body, my rules. Right, let's carry on before I get in trouble with YouTube. Okay, next one. Pay attention to the gentlemen now who are doubting this, okay? I really crave to be dirty and hardcore, but my husband is too soft and too gentle. He doesn't want to explore. He hardly has a sex drive. Please help. I love him, but this is really affecting me and our marriage. I don't know if I can carry on pretending it's okay. We hardly are intimate to begin with. I wish I knew what ethnicities these women were. I have no clue. Alhamdulillah. I got no clue what ethnicity they are. Okay. But look at the next one. God almighty. Right. We're getting to that in a second. First thing you need to understand is this. You might have heard this term before, that intimacy, sexual intimacy, is the glue that keeps a marriage together. It is the glue that keeps a marriage together. You can have the greatest relationship in the world. You really get on, you really gel. If you don't have satisfactory intimacy, between each other, it can result in a divorce. And as you can see here, the sister is complaining that her husband is too soft and too gentle. You know what she wants? She wants to be grabbed by the throat like this, bruv. Back of the hair. Boom. Smashed down like that. All right. Let's keep it a bit PG. All right. Then let's carry on. That's what she wants. And most probably she is desiring this even more and more the more that this carries on and goes on. She just wants to be manhandled, quite literally. Now, I don't know if her husband is suffering from low testosterone. And you know what, guys? Let's address this real quick. Men are 50% less fertile today than our baby boomer generation. So my parents' generation, we are 50% less fertile than just 2 generations back. That's insane. Which means our testosterone levels are lower, considerably lower. And there's a number of reasons for this, to the food that we eat, to the drink, the liquids that we drink, to the lifestyles that we live. Lifestyle. Do you work out? Do you take care of your body? Do you go out of your way to ensure that you are eating good food? And if you don't know what to eat or how to train, have you hired someone to train you? Entire section of No Strings Nikah is going to be dedicated to getting you men in shape, back in shape, to get your fat belly bouncing asses in shape. Well, we've got a whole section in No Strings Nikah that is dedicated just to that. If you haven't subscribed to the Telegram chat already, then make sure to the Telegram group. Sorry, make sure you do so. The app is about to launch. The Google Play, is it Google Play? Yeah, the Google Play app has already been approved. We're just waiting for Apple to approve theirs, and then I'll make the official announcement that the app is live. Make sure that you are registered, you are subscribed to the Telegram chat or group, whatever it is, because all of the updates will be there. Going to get you into shape. Going to get your T levels sorted out. You're too soft. You're too passive. You're moist, bruv. Where's that thing?
Well, I look at man, that man's moving wet. Man's moving soft. Man's moving on his. You're moving towards gating.
That gets me every time. Allah. All right. Let's keep it moving. Right. Okay. I love in the rear end, even though I know it's prohibited, but we end up every time doing it. I love when he degrades me in bed. We've got another one who loves to be degraded. So I can fully relate to your Insta post talking about degrading kink. Degradation kink is a real thing. To the sister, I would say to you, if you have this thing with anal, well, aside from the fact that it's haram, if that's not enough for you, sister, then I'll say to you this. What's the word? Incontinent. Is it incontinent? Eventually, you're going to suffer from incontinence. I believe that's the word, which is where you can no longer hold your poop inside your body. You will have to start walking around with a nappy. That's disgusting, bruv. Yeah? You can't be wearing a nappy at your big age unless you've got some type of medical condition. And no, incontinence that has been self-imposed upon yourself is not a medical condition. All right? So ask Allah to help you with that. And I don't know what to tell you, man. All of the khara and all of that. All right, let's carry on. I can relate to many of the answers. It feels good to know I'm not the only. Mahdi, this is troll. Trolling brothers are trolling you. No way sister will think like this. Sister never will think and talk like this. Astaghfirullah, they are all things sweet and kind and roses. All right, safe. It feels good to know I'm not the only one who's into rough/hardcore sex. Doesn't mean we're less religious than those who prefer to make actual love, lol. Romance in bed is just not for me. I like sweet and kind words during the day. However, in bed, I find it very, very what? There was no continuation of that message. Okay, well, I find it very fill in the blank. She doesn't like it. All right, it's not for her. Moving on. My worst fear is having a higher drive than my husband. Makes me feel more masculine. I have to keep playing it cool. I don't know if that sister's married. All right. I really crave to be dirty and hardcore, but my husband is that we've already done this one. Right. Bruh, I'm finding it hard to believe. Here we go. I'm finding it hard to believe women are writing these messages, lol. Too dirty and explicit in explanation. I might just be too naive and innocent, but they sound more horny than men, lol. You guys are sorely mistaken if you believe that women do not have sexual desires that are considerable, yani, not just a little bit every now and again. I'd love to answer the previous one. Here we go. Who finds it hard to believe that some of us practicing women actually think this way? I can speak for myself. Someone said, who said blue stop? Blue stop, Mahdi. Right. I've grown up in a very traditional North African household. All right, here we go. Where the woman's place was clear and the men's place as well. I'm practicing since I was a teen. So she's a practicing sister. All right. She's not a sister from the streets. She's not a sister who's been ran through. She's a practicing sister. Let's carry on. I've never been in a club. I've never experienced all the stuff that many maybe did in their jahiliyyah, as I practiced from a very young age. MashaAllah. I was always a pleasant child, always attracted to submission, as I was and still am submissive in my nature. In my first marriage, even though I had the strong desire of being 100% submissive to my husband and also wanted my husband to take control, he turned out to be a very shy person, always asking for consent. Oh my days! I got kicked off of TikTok for telling people never ask for consent. And this woman here is saying that she is annoyed with her husband for asking for consent. I was speaking the truth, bruv. Allah al-Musta'an. I'm not saying to grab. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, yani, be assertive, be confident. Flip's sake, bruv. He turned out to be a very shy person, always asking for consent. No amount of masculinity in daily life or in bed. Interesting. Very interesting. We got divorced after 6 years and I married again. Only that this time I was a bit more experienced and specifically searched for a brother who is clearly dominant and an alpha male. Alhamdulillah, this was the best decision. I see nothing wrong in being degraded in bed, being slapped, being insulted, etc. All right, this is where I have to just put a disclaimer out there, okay? I don't know what the Shari'i view is on a woman being degraded, like verbally insulted. I don't know what the Shari'i ruling is on this. So please, Yani, just you need to take that to a sheikh. And like some of this stuff is extreme. Like she wants to be called like the lowest of the low. Like she's just like she's filth. You know the filth that we talk about? She wants to be compared to that. She gets off on that. I don't know if this is halal or not halal. I don't know, bruv. I don't know that side of things. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing in front of me. So again, I see nothing wrong with being degraded in bed, being slapped, being insulted, etc. He is experienced with women due to previous marriages. Now you can understand, guys, why women often look for an experienced man, by the way, a man who has prior experience or a man who is indeed married. By the way, being married is to women what having lots of money is to wealth accumulation. The more money you have, the more money you can make. You've probably heard of that before. Money makes money, which is true, right? Women also attracts women. The more women you have, the more women who want you. It's social proof. Okay, it's like, oh, he's got a wife, well, he must be doing something right. He's got 2 wives, well, he's definitely doing something right. He's got 3 wives, I need to quickly fill that spot before the last one, before it goes. The more women you have, the easier it is to get more of them. Let's carry on. He's experienced with women due to previous marriages, and we match perfectly. He's an alpha during the day, and during the night, he unleashes the animal in me. When he grabs me, when he grapes me, role play. Wow! This really be saying this to you. When he grabs me and when he grapes me, role play, that's the moment I can let go. I forget I'm the practicing sister, Quran teacher, and mom. I can hear the Muslims screaming. You man are literally screaming. Ah, astaghfirullah. She teaches Quran and she wants to be grabbed at night. I can't read anymore. This is too much. Please, what is going on? I don't know.
Get your face ready. Get your cheeks ready. I'm going to slap you again today.
I'm going to slap you with a dose of reality. It's just me and him. No. Let me read that again for you. I forget that I'm the practicing sister, Quran teacher, and mum. It's just me and him, and the desire of being his object. I want to scream that one, yeah? Of being his object. Bruv, what did you hear me say on our brother Dilly's podcast? What did you hear me say, bruv? Women want to be objectified. 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 Again. Give me all the slaps. I need something more satisfying than that. Huh? No, we just want to be objectified. Brother, what are you talking about? Shut up. This stream is fun today. If you're liking the stream, do me a favor and like it. Thank you very much. Maybe even share it on one of your social media platforms. Sorry to interrupt this broadcast. Your show will now continue. Where were we? Right, okay, yeah. So, the desire I see in his eyes, the lust, the hunger. Wait. Have I got any? No. I can let go. I forget on the practice and sister, Quran teacher, mum. It's just me and him and the desire of being his object. The desire I see in his eyes, the lust, the hunger is so satisfying. And there is a very strong and intimate bond between us when he hits or slaps me. We want to be treated with respect. Respect me, brother. You should respect me. Why? You are so disrespectful. You should say, please. How dare you, brother? Let's just read that again. And there is a very strong and intimate bond between us when he hits or slaps me. Our Quran teacher sister is telling you that she feels the most intimately connected and the strongest bond when she is getting slapped. Pop like that, bruv. All right? Sheesh. Boy. Because there is 100% trust between us. In order to let go and give up control, there must be 100% trust. Of course, absolutely. That was very enlightening, sister. Jazakallahu khairan to whoever the sister is. Bismillah. Look what my man wrote. You got me, bro. Bro, even the Quran teacher ain't safe out here. 100, rude boy. You don't know, bro. Trust me. Someone said, these are the demons of women hidden deep inside. It's repression, is what it is. It's repression. It's having to be this like, I'm all sweetness and light and roses, and I would never do such a. And the more you have to act out this role, the more like these deep, dark desires like start forming inside that need an outlet. And I see nothing wrong with this outlet. It's great. Her husband, our Quran teacher, mashallah, our Sheikha Quran teacher's husband, he's having the time of his life, bro. Are you mad? She's great. This is fantastic. It's amazing. It's absolutely bloody brilliant. Yeah, man. I don't see anything wrong with it. Right. All right, let's continue. That was fun. This is why I got my wife to make this presentation, because I wanted you to get my fresh reaction. Right. Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go. The idea of my husband being intimate with another woman. And notice, by the way, how she didn't write being intimate. She actually wanted to write the word F-U-C-K-I-N-G. She really wanted to say that. Yeah. Because she's just like getting it out, expressing it. I'm anonymous, safe. I'm going to say everything. Right. The idea of my husband effing another woman turns me on as well. It's such a turn on. During intimacy, she didn't write that. You can see what she wrote, but I'm just making it a bit more PG for you. I want him to tell me how he'd F someone else and what he'd do to her. I'm so relieved I'm not the only one, lol. Being 100% submissive to him is so arousing. I will never accept my husband take another wife. Ever. No, he cannot. I will leave him. 5 minutes later. During intimacy, I want him to tell me how he'd F another being. Astaghfirullah, I need this water. How he'd F another woman. Bruv, please.
Go wash your ass.
Trying to find some other ones that are a bit more. Yeah, that will do. Talk to me. Sisters, talk to me. What's going on? And by the way, let me just add some a bit more to that. This is, by the way, this is at least in my experience, this is a lot more common than you'd think. By the way, some women, it genuinely is a turn off. Even the discussion, like it really does make their blood boil. But a lot of other women, it's a thing for them. I don't know what it is. Someone said to me, "It's cuckoldry, bro. How can it be cuckoldry? It's not even physically possible, because what cuckoldry is when a man is raising another man's child, thinking that it's his. That's physically impossible for a woman because she pushes the thing out. It's not possible." All right, hold on a second, guys. Right. So that's not cuckoldry. All right. But this is a lot more common than you think, by the way. Let's just leave that there. Okay, we've done that one. I'm not yet married yet, but I fear that my husband will have a very high sex drive and ask me to do stuff that I can't imagine myself doing, like oral and anal. Well, he shouldn't ask you to do anal, but oral. I don't see no issue with that. I've heard many women complaining about their husbands forcing them to do it, but that's too degrading for a woman. How to deal with that fear? My fear is coming across a sister like you. That's my fear. Yeah, anal is haram. Let's forget about that. But everything else, that's literally my fear, coming across a woman like this. So, sister, if you've never been married before, then you don't really know. You know, you haven't experienced it. Get married and then see how it goes after that. All right. But my fear is coming across a woman like this, bro. Could never be me. I find it so disgusting. So here now we're providing some balance. Okay, I'm providing you with some balance. There were some opposing views. Remember I said to you, not all women can relate to this. I don't want us to get stuck in an echo chamber and then we think all women are like this. No, it is a spectrum. It is a spectrum. And if you haven't liked the video, then what are you doing here, bruv? Yeah, do your boy a solid. We've got 237 of you in here and only 66 likes. Yani why? Lish, why? 237 and 66 likes. This is a violation as far as I'm concerned. Hit the like button. Barakallahu fikum. Jazakumullahu khair. Right. I find it so disgusting. Like, how do people do BJs and degrading stuff and then carry on normal the next day? By the way, I'm married. Clearly, I'm boring, lol. I need respect and would stop having intimacy if my man even remotely disrespected me. So as you can see, some women like this exist. Yeah. May Allah keep them far away from us. I mean, here we go. Thinking of my hubby effing another woman turns me on. I secretly want a threesome. Oh my days.
This is haram.
You heard Sheikh Tate.
This is haram.
Moving on. I have to confess that me too. I'm enjoying the idea of my husband being intimate with another woman to the point that I'd love to watch them. I wouldn't get intimate with the girl as I'm 100% straight. However, watching my man F her and me at the same time is a huge turn on. Not gonna lie. And shout out to this app, by the way. The actual app is called Not Gonna Lie, NGL. Perfect name for the app. These are Muslim sisters. I don't know. Maybe she's a Tajweed teacher. Yeah. We had the Quran teacher on a madness. Now we've got the Tajweed teacher on a madness as well. It's not even a madness, to be honest with you. This is common. All of this is common, you know? Right. A man that can read you and balance both. There's time for lovemaking, but there's also something sexy and a massive turn on knowing he is hungry for you. He wants to unleash the animal within you. Okay, that's a good way of putting it. I think we have reached the end of our presentation. I hope you enjoyed that, students. Those of you who are in class, I hope you paid attention, because the end of year examination will be asking you on these questions. So, what do you think of that, guys? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised? What do you think? What did you make of that? Right, the link is in the chat now. If you want to call me, you can. I'm going to open up the lines. Let's paste this again. Okay, the link is in the chat. I'm going to bring on our first caller now, inshallah ta'ala. American Halal, salamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How you doing, Akh?
I'm good. Yeah, man, to be honest with you, I guess I'm a little shocked by some of the brothers' reactions. I think obviously, coming in anonymous would help these sisters talk about this more easily. But also I think history as well. I think we're missing that point. I completely agree with you on your points that you brought up about, feeling a little bit more modest growing up and them not able to talk about these things. So then they want to explore it more. But I think looking at evolutionary biology and our history points to it even further.
How do you mean?
I know that's a little left field, yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you look at, for instance, different cultures, like I know you're North African, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Berber culture, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, the Romans kind of gave you guys that name as in like Berber to signify like barbarians. Basically, they had a hard time fighting you guys, so they give you guys that name.
I don't know the history, but that's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when we look at history 1,000 years ago, thousands of years ago, I have a hard time believing that men were out here just giving people roses and super romantic. Especially, I know we all think about like the Viking history, all these things. So I think all of that put together, I think a lot of evolutionarily we've been grown to like be attracted to these sort of things, if that makes sense.
I don't maybe, yeah, maybe, bro. Do you have any questions, Akhi?
I mean, I think along with what these sisters are saying and along with a lot of these brothers are saying as well, like, how do you kind of go about asking these sort of questions without asking these sort of questions?
No.
Sense?
That's that. You can't ask that before.
Right. So how would you?
You just gotta just like find your way once you get married. Just figure it out as you get married. I would say as a man, I would err on the side of audacity more than caution. But if she turns out to be the type of woman who doesn't appreciate that type of stuff, then you can just rein it back in. That's fine. Though. You can pull it back. Whereas if you start too soft and timid, and she is that type of woman, that's going to be a huge put off for her. So err on the side of too audacious as opposed to too timid. And if she turns out to be the type of woman who doesn't appreciate that type of stuff, then just pull it back. Just rein it back a bit.
Gotcha. Cool.
Habibi, pleasure speaking to you. Take care, my man.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Shayma, assalamu alaikum. Hala, assalamu alaikum. Sister, you are there? What happened, sister? You go? You scared? I am scary face. Assalamu alaikum. HH. Hello? Anybody there? Hello? We are waiting for you to come on stream. You are destroying quality of stream. Bloody hell, mate. Right. Halal, man. What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, man? Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you doing, Habibi?
I'm doing good. I appreciate that video you made the other day. It was quite a shock when I saw that. I didn't expect it, but yeah.
What are you saying, huh?
Yeah, I just have to say, a lot of what you read out, this is what the Ummah are going through, I feel like it's, if especially when you read the hadiths, in terms of being able to pleasure your wife and stuff like that, a lot of brothers, are forgetting the importance of, the self-improvement aspect in terms of, you've courted a woman, that's great, you've married her, but, the job doesn't finish, you have a job to do, you have a job to please your wife, in certain ways. And I feel like from certain people, from certain ethnic backgrounds, you know, grown up in this culture, this UK culture, you know, there's people who grow up in secluded environments where they don't really learn, you know, game, or they don't learn, you know, how to please a woman in a certain sense, and they're kind of, you know, maybe secluded by their family, especially like you see in Southeast Asian cultures and things like that. And the downside of this, when they get married, the woman, you know, is not really getting the outlet that she desires, and the divorce happens, you know, because the work hasn't been done. And you know, it's all good praying 5 times a day and going to the masajid, you know, and you know, learning Quran and things like that. But there's certain things in the religion that you have to learn, that you know, that will teach you how to please your wife. And what you read out, you know, is, as the other guy said, hidden demons inside of women. And this is very, very good that a lot of these guys, including myself, are seeing this, because especially if you're not married, you have a lot of more work to do. And this shows that this could be your wife. You know, your wife could be doing that. And, you know, you don't want your wife doing that. So yeah, it's very, very dangerous. It's a game of Russian roulette, you know, in the sense it's very artistic. You know, as you mentioned before, you have to have a good element of love, a good element of aggression, you know, a plethora of different elements, like a rainbow of elements. You know, you can't just be one way, you can't just be one dimensional, as you mentioned, you know, when you know, you did that MMA session with that guy and he was going all different types of ways and doing all different types of stances. You know, you have to move like the ocean, like the river, like the wind. You know, as life evolves, you have to change, you have to adapt, you have to be versatile. You know, a man is a rock. You know, when the wind blows, the rock, it doesn't shatter. You know, it adapts, it absorbs the shocks. You know, it doesn't change color. You know, a lot of men who get married, Muslim men, especially, you know, any ethnic background, it's almost as if they get.
Your mic, bro. Mic.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, it's almost as if, you know, they married a woman and they pander to what the woman wants, you know, and they lose frame. And, you know, it's all a good being good looking, being tall, but sometimes it's your behavior. It's the behavior that really messes you up. And this is what isn't really being taught, you know, in the Ummah. You know, this is not being taught. People are just being taught, you know, just make a lot of money and that will solve the problem. That does not really, you know, solve everything. You know, you still have to have a certain masculine aura about you, a certain masculine presence, a dominance. You know, you have to have a masculine frame, an individual, unique masculine frame that's unique to you and your essence. You know, you don't even have to conform to your own ethnic background, like you are you. You know, as you mentioned, I think you said you're half Algerian, half English. You know, I didn't realize that actually, you know, which is quite interesting, you know. And so you know, someone like you, for example, you're your own person, you're unique. You know, I wouldn't classify you as North African or English. I'll classify you as your own individual person.
When
That's why,
people
you
ask
know,
me where am I from, do I feel more Algerian or more English? I say neither. I feel that's how I feel.
yeah. So that's probably one of the reasons why.
Your mic, Akhi, your mic.
Right. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why you stand out and you're very unique. You know, even the way certain people speak, you know, I feel like they just sound like a robot. You know, there's nothing interesting about them. And this is why these women, you know, are commenting and leaving these anonymous comments, because they're not with a guy that is like that top 1% guy. And it's not even, not, I don't mean like earning potential. I just mean that individual unique character.
I got you.
Yeah, man. So this should be dream shattering for people watching this, because this could be you.
Dream shattering. I'm gonna quote you on that's a wicked title.
Yeah,
Bro. Dream shattering. I like that.
yeah. So this you know, video, it can go many different ways. You know, it's like an umbrella of different paths. It can be a path of self-improvement, a path of dream shattering of events, you know, a path of illumination, a path of, you know, desire, or a path of anger, you know, or disappointment. You know, so for me, I see it as a path of self-improvement and dream shattering, because your wife could be doing this and you know could be cheating on you, and you know there's a lot of guys who watch those comments. That they could feel in their heart that that's their wife. It could be enlightening. You know, you could be sitting around in the living room and you know you could be watching TV and your wife might be looking at a celebrity or something, and you kind of looking at your wife like, what are you doing? You know, maybe my wife is doing that. Is posting these comments, you know, or maybe she's watching. Maybe
Maybe
she's
it was
watching.
maybe my wife is said one of the questions. Did I just read one of my wife's comments on
Yeah.
Mahdi's stream?
Yeah, exactly. You know, this is very, very, very dangerous, and you know, I feel like a lot of guys, you know, they need to really work on themselves properly. You know, they need to be in the gym. You know, they need to bulk up, in my opinion, gain muscle. They need to have confidence. They need to have authority. They need to have attitude about them. You know, this is why. Yeah, this is why your wife is
Oh, I know
boring.
some very skinny brothers, yeah. But flipping out, they got some aura about them, man. It's like it emanates around them. It's just this mad aura. It really is attitude. It's a way of conducting yourself. If you're about that life, you're about that life, whether you're muscly or not. I'm not saying to not train. One should train, but it's not a prerequisite. I've seen some very small, skinny brothers, and they got some mad aura about them. You know.
Yeah, and another thing I just want to say, like, I think you mentioned something about, you know, long distance relationships and finding women in your country. That is actually a huge indication of if you as a Muslim have game, or if you are actually out here and on this, you know. Like, if you can't meet a woman in your own country, your own city, something's wrong. Why do you have to go to another country, even like Ireland or something? If you live in England, why would you go to Ireland? Why would you go to Netherlands to find a wife? What the hell is wrong with you? Especially you live in Luton or London. There's so many women here. Why do you need to go overseas? Like, what is going on? Where is your game? You know, you need game. You need to make your voice deeper. Okay, you need to drink more water so your voice gets deeper. You need to make your arms 17 to 18 inches. Okay, maybe forget about
I
the
big man, I
definition.
don't even have 17 inches, bro. You're making me feel insecure out here, bro. You're like 16, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's still good. You know, I feel like the key word for a lot of Muslim men when it comes to self improvement is the threshold. You know, a lot of men just need to reach that threshold. You don't need to overextend the threshold. You know, you don't need to make £150,000 a year. No, you just need to meet the threshold. And as long
Yeah.
as you meet the threshold, you'll be fine, man. But a lot
I
of
mean,
people don't
it's
be.
myriad factors. You make very valid points. Women are more fussier, though, for reasons that we've mentioned in the past. They're more educated. They have higher. They are more they have progressed further in their respective careers, and as a result of that, they're just fussier. Point blank. Period. The higher up the career ladder she climbs, the less likely it is she will ever get married. This is a stat that I've taken from one of Jordan Peterson's videos. This is actually factually correct. So there's myriad factors, but yeah, I understand fundamentally what you're saying. Like, if you need to go to another country, like, you need to take a look in the mirror before. Yeah, and have you really exhausted all options? I don't know. I would make an argument that most brothers who feel they need to go to another country haven't exhausted all options yet. They're just given up hope after being turned down a few times. Best Jazakallah khair for coming on, my man. Appreciate it, Habibi.
Yeah, no problem, Dave. Have a nice time. Yeah.
And you take care, my man. Assalamu alaikum. Right. Okay. Who are we going to bring on next? Turkish psychologist. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Mahdi. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. How you doing, ah?
Alhamdulillah, brother. I've been watching you for a while. I really love your content. Jazakallah khair for everything you're doing.
I appreciate it, my man. You got a bit of white noise in the background, huh?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, that's better, yeah.
Okay, inshallah. Yeah, so I just wanted to give my feedback on this. I understand that a lot of people
Are you a psychologist, by the way?
Yes, alhamdulillah, I am.
Oh, so
actually.
please tell us your background.
So yeah, I've been a psychologist now for 2 years. I studied in the States. So I was born and raised in the States. I'm actually in Turkey now because I'm Turkish from my mother's side. But besides the fact, that I was just thinking like everything you were saying and how, and honestly, a lot of women are talking about how they have all these desires. And this is true because a lot of women do have these innate desires to, they want to fulfill with their a potential spouse. So this is not something that we should be surprised about. But I think it also has to do with a lot of stuff that society brings on us. The Kardashians, the stuff we see on TV, how a lot of people are exposed to porn as well. So that does kind of, push that level to where they want to explore more and they want to see more of other things, if that makes any sense.
I got you. Yeah, and what do you make from a psychological perspective of the point I made earlier in the stream, which is because we have this massive emphasis in the public domain of men respecting women and being kind and being and consent and respecting her and letting her lead and so on, that the desire for women to experience masculine traits from a man has only increased because they are more starved from it now than they have ever been before.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. There's a lot of anonymous, research that was done on this as far as how women react towards men and men react towards women, especially in a sexual manner. What I would want to say about this basically is that I believe that there's a difference between respect and there's a difference between how you would treat your wife and sexually. I mean, this is something that it doesn't have to do anything with respect. I mean, as a man, you should be able to let your wife know that you are the man, basically. I mean, without sounding misogynistic or anything like that. You got to show her, and part of showing her is you're gonna have to fulfill that intimate itch or that desire that she has inside of her. So I think we understand in a certain sense where men's supposed to be nice and gentle and calm and treat a woman a certain way, but that's not really how women want to be treated inside, if that makes any sense.
And I will say that women contribute to this problem as well by telling men, oh, we want you to be kind and gentle to us. But I mean, it's difficult for her to come out and say openly to a man, oh, I want to be slapped and degraded and beaten with your belt. I get it. It's hard to say that. But they don't make it any easier when they peddle the exact opposite rhetoric, which is, I want her to be kind and gentle and nice and so on.
Yeah. And the thing is, you got to feel out, your spouse. I mean, you got to know what makes her happy, what doesn't make her happy. And it takes time, but at the same time, you have to tell her what your desires are, what you want, so you can make that relationship work better. And, you guys can agree on things, but you got to be spontaneous. This is why women, they love, a lot of them, they love these stories.
Sorry, bro. Man said slapped on her bumper clad. Sorry, Aki, carry on.
No, yeah. So you got to be spontaneous. You got to show your wife, you can handle her and that you can explore things with her besides the fact of just being, we're going to be intimate. This is how we're going to do it. And it's just going to be a routine. You have to explore more things and, in a halal way. Like, I'm a Muslim, alhamdulillah. So I would encourage in the halal way you explore things. You're not going to, I've heard some of the streams and I'm like, wow, these women are out there. But at the same time, they're seeing things that promote these ideas inside their head. Maybe if I get, raped, or if I'm taking it from the back or whatever, this is going to fulfill my desire. Some women like that. They just, it's what you feed them. It's the reality that you show them that they're after. They just, and that's really what it comes down to. You just, as a Muslim man, yes, of course, you have to be within the bounds of Sharia and within the bounds of pleasing your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, that doesn't, if you're roughing up your wife in bed and she likes it, I mean, this is not really, I wouldn't see anything wrong with that. If you're not hurting her, she's not, at the end of the day, this is what she wants. And the same for women pleasing men as well. I think women, should know what their men want and please them as much as they can so that their relationship becomes fruitful. And again, taqwa too, like have some taqwa in the things you do, because I feel like a lot of us, we're just running after this dunya basis where I have to fulfill this desire, and then the desire never really becomes fulfilled too. So running after things that are impermissible as well, like, taking it from the back and stuff like this. This is, we all have desires, and our desires sometimes can lead us the wrong way. So we have to be able to put that desire in check sometimes. If that makes sense.
Barakallah fiqh. Turkish psychologist, I appreciate you coming on, my man.
Barakallah. Yes, brother. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, we're going to do something different now. I'm going to bring 3 of you on at the same time because you guys keep trying to join the stream and the waiting room is full. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Right. Jan, Kulsak, Tamazir, and Aladdin, you're all on the stream. Talk to me. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. What's going on, boys?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. Who's talking to me right now? Is this Aladdin or Tamazir?
I'm Alauddin.
Aladdin. And the other brother?
Yeah,
Okay,
my name is actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep
going. Your name is?
Yeah, sure. Who should go first?
What's your name, bro? What's your name?
Oh, my name is actually Muhammad, but you know what I mean. I just came up with this random name, like right now. I'm asleep.
Muhammad, you
North
go
African
first.
here.
You go first, and then I want
Yeah, I
to
would
hear
like.
what Aladdin to say to your question. Go, shoot.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, Akhi Mahdi. I hope you're doing all right. Thank you for your efforts. It's much appreciated. I mean, I came up like from you know what I mean. Like I graduated from behavioral science, and I think like I was interested in people behaviors for a long time. So to say, I mean, I've noticed that especially nowadays, young men and young women are, you know, they have this distorted image of sex, and I think it's been distorted because they've been fed lots of lies about how intimacy should be like. So they need to understand what does, you know, intimacy means and how they should conduct themselves to really achieve the optimum, you know what I mean, resolution in terms of that. So to say like they must understand 3 things. I think like intimacy is like in 3 stages. The first one is like you have to build up the environment for the intimacy itself. So lots of men nowadays, they have been feminized. So lots of men now, they let their women lead, which is like literally makes all of these stages go into like literally destruction. So first of all, you need to take the lead. You need to build the environment for the intimacy, first of all. So first, you need to be masculine. You need to take the lead. You need to build up the environment. Then intimacy comes. You need to show, like you need to conduct yourself in a masculine matter. After you've done that, here comes, I think, after the intimacy finishes, here comes the 3rd stage, which is like, you know, like when it becomes more intimate in terms like, you know what I mean. You need to be like to make, I mean, to let your wife feel the intimacy, and you talk with her, and you know, give her like let her feel the warmth, and let her feel that she's wanted, and make her feel good about herself. I think most men, they understand like romance in a wrong way. Just like you have to be romantic in the, you know what I mean, in the sexual intercourse itself, which is like so wrong. From my personal experience, lots of women, they like it rough. They like you to be in top of your masculinity. So if you are not doing anything right in terms of these 3 stages, you are like literally blowing it up. That's, I think, my take on this thing. Thank you for, you know what I mean, letting me share my thoughts.
Appreciate you sharing that. Shukran, Habibi. Jazakallah khair. Right, Aladdin, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, akhi. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Hit me, bro. What are you saying?
Well, I agree with most of what has been said, but I have a different perspective. I don't think it's entirely dependent on you becoming that top 1% man, or focusing solely on your physique in order to attain a woman who is somewhat respectful and understanding and following the deen and submissive. You don't have to be the top 1%, because the top 1%
of course
gets the top 1%. I think
no. Whoever said you need to be top 1% to have a woman to do basic things is talking nonsense.
Exactly right. So what I'm suggesting is that the majority,
and even then, by the way, when we say top 1%, most people are just simply referring to one thing, which is socioeconomic status or income, basically. When this is not even something we should that doesn't define a 1% man as a Muslim. Now, I understand that women are innately attracted to a man who has strong socioeconomic power, meaning he earns well. But that's the only thing people are referring to when we say top 1%. No one's referring to top 1% in tahfidh al-Quran.
right,
No one's referring to. Do you understand?
Even then, if you become the top 1% in the financial status, you can still have a woman who will cheat on you. How many top 1% men, their women cheat on them? They don't fear Allah. I think the main focus here should be building a household built on taqwa, fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your woman should know not to be looking at these things that the men have referred to previously, where they're looking. I only caught the video towards the end of the slides, and those were repulsive. What I saw, I couldn't believe what I was reading.
What was repulsive? Which one?
Regarding a couple of the messages which said, I would love to see my husband, my hubby, with another woman. I couldn't even believe that, because if these were Muslim women and they had taqwa, they would understand that this is forbidden in Islam. You should not be seeing the awrah of another woman. You should not be seeing the nakedness of another woman. That's ridiculous. If your woman had taqwa, if your wife had taqwa of Allah and she understood the basic rules of Islam, she would not be looking at these things which make her have this desire.
She's not saying to look. She's saying she would like to. There's a difference. She's not saying she's doing it. She's saying she would like to. But let me ask you this question. Okay, so you're saying that if she had taqwa, she wouldn't have this feeling in the first place, right? Okay, but let me ask you this question, bro. If you could, does the idea of having 10 wives, does that appeal to you? 10 women that you are able to be intimate with?
I would say it's appealing to any man.
Right. Does that mean that you don't have taqwa? Because Allah prohibited you to have more than 4.
No, because I can control my desire for that. Because
that's
I
not
know
the point. The point is, of course, you will, and you will control your desire. You don't have a choice. But the point is, the idea of it is still appealing to you. Does that mean now that you don't have taqwa? No, it doesn't. It just means that it'd be nice. Yeah, I'd love to have 10, 20, 50, 100, unlimited. Doesn't mean you don't have taqwa just because you like the idea of it. It's similarly here in this instance here.
Right. That desire in the man is fitrah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He places that desire for women in the man's heart, right? زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. That's the first part of the ayah. Beautified to man is the love of these desires, one of which is women. So that's a natural desire a man has. But it's not a natural desire for a woman to see her husband having intercourse with another woman. The only reason this is in her mind is because of what she may have seen. Likely seen on whatever applications.
We have to be careful.
Videos.
Look, this is starting to get out of my wheelhouse now, and we have to be careful because we're starting to pathologize and make out as though there is genuinely something pathologically wrong with them, which I don't think is the case, by the way. And you would be surprised how common this is. This is not like some weird outlier. There's a large minority of women who can relate to this. And I think it's less connected to the act itself and more connected to the idea that her man is able to pleasure multiple women, because it's an indication of his alphaness, for want of a better word, right? So that's appealing to her fitrah there. And the act itself is simply a stamp, testification, a reminder that, yes, my man is able to do that. That's all it's doing. It's serving to remind her that she has a man who is capable of such a thing. But again, we're skating on thin ice here, pathologizing and things like that.
I'm not saying it's a pathology, a physical or mental pathology. I'm suggesting it may be a spiritual pathology of the heart, in which the woman is so used to seeing these fawahish, these evils, that it becomes easy for her to envision this, to hope for this. I think this is wrong. I think the men of the household should be more stern and keep the woman on quote unquote short leash, so that she's not.
How long you been married for? How long you been married?
10 years.
Okay, and how many wives have you had in that time?
A single one, alhamdulillah.
Okay, when you have a few wives and you've experienced different women, and I'm talking practicing women, not the non-practicing kind. Of course, you only marry the practicing ones, inshallah. And you've experienced that, then come back and have another conversation with me. And see, and then we'll see. I think you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Okay, Habibi. Yalla,
Jazakallah khair.
Wa iyyak. Assalamu alaikum. Salam wa rahmatullah. All right, I got someone here. I got Queen Elizabeth and Iblis. All right, Iblis has brought Queen Elizabeth back to life. Iblis, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Talk to me, Iblis. You are there or not? Do I have to get the Quran ready to throw out your face? Hello. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Who is this? There's a mad echo, bro. So you echo. The Queen is in the chat. Queen Elizabeth, are you there? First of all, Zubair, shout out to you for the 699 super chat. Jazakallah khair. Why do Muslim men like being poor, saying deen over dunya? Wallah, who will pay for the mosques and establishing more power in the ummah? Yeah, I covered this video. Just watch that video I did the other day, the Dawah Man video. I've gone through it. It's this push and pull between dunya and akhirah, between striving for the akhirah, but at the same time, having a bit of establishing yourself in the dunya as well. It's that push and pull. You know who's a really good example, modern day example of zuhud, which is turning your back on the dunya whilst having it in your hand at the same time? Khabib Nurmagomedov, great example. A man who he has the dunya in his hand, like his slave, but he's turned his back on it. I've never seen him with some fancy watch or fancy car, or I know he flies around in a private jet, but that's purely for practical reasons, because it's just simply faster to travel around in a jet than it is to take regular peasant flights, right? It's just simply faster, and for a businessman like him, speed is of the essence. Aside from that, you don't really see him with much, you know. Anyway, all right. Salman, salam alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What are you saying, bro?
Marhaba. We talked before, remember? Min Bangladesh. أنا كندي أسكن بالبنغلاديش a few weeks ago.
I don't remember. Many people, bro. تفضل بسم الله.
Okay, shukran, alhamdulillah. So yeah, I was like saying, when it comes to sex, there is no limits, because when I'm now an older cat, closer to 40, to my 40s. But when I was younger, I used to, do a few amateur porn videos, and when I talk to Muslim women, practicing Muslim women, I show it to them, they immediately want to leave. Like, they have the attitude like, I want to fuck you right away, you know what I'm saying? So it's not unusual. It's not unusual to like be hearing these things. It's all in their fantasies. If it can be a reality, then why not? You know what I'm saying? All women are like, it's not only restricted to Muslim women, but Muslim women are human too. So we should recognize this fact and not, put them on a pedestal and assume that they don't have feelings and stuff like that. Not everyone is like from the wives of the Prophet. Not everyone is like Maryam, okay, Isa, you know what I'm saying? So that's my 5 cents on this, you know what I'm saying? We should not be judgmental, you know what I'm saying? We should we should know that as a fantasy, whether it happens or not is a secondary issue, but nonetheless, yeah, that was my 2 cents. And what's that you drinking, man? What are you having right now?
What do you think, bro? The chat thinks that it's wine. Maybe that's why I'm going a bit tipsy. Yeah, man. Astaghfirullah.
It looks like you mixed Jello in this. You remember the guy who was talking about Ma Malakat Aymanakum a few weeks ago? Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
مرحبا
مرحبا حبيبي. يلا حبيبي. السلام عليكم.
شكرا مع السلامة.
Right, Norwin, salam alaikum. Salam alaikum, sister, brother, you are there?
Hello.
Okay. Hello?
Am I in stream? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. You are in stream.
Assalamu alaikum. Do you can hear me?
Yes, brother, I hear you very, very well. What are your name?
Do you can hear me?
I can hear you, brother. Who are you? What are your name? Where are you from?
Yes. I'm from Germany, so my sounds are a little bit crashed.
We should recognize this fact and not
No problem,
Um,
brother. But you are sound in background, brother. What is this sound?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, brother. Please ask me.
I'm from Germany, and in Germany the police is very and my question is, so I'm German Muslim, I'm Revert, and would you recommend me to emigrate to the UK?
There's noise in the background, bro. Switch that off, please. Would I recommend you to emigrate to the UK? No. The answer to your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, brother. Brother, don't come UK. Very bad. Don't come here. Stay in Germany. All hail. Oh, wait. Very bad, this one. I was about to say something very bad. Don't come to the UK, bro. There's nothing for you here. All right. Let's see.
To emigrate to the UK? No.
Assalamu alaikum.
That's a good question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, brother. Brother, don't. All hail.
Oh,
wait.
What the hell? This guy's got my thing on. That's what it is. Ish. Assalamu alaikum.
Yo, alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
What are you saying, Habibi? How you doing?
Yo, bro, I just want to thank you for this enlightening video, man. Like,
I appreciate your appreciation, bro.
It's like I'm 19 years old, yeah, and I just want to say, like, I don't really know much about all this women stuff, you know what I mean? So, like, it's really like I don't know, like, that now I get to know like some more stuff about this topic because like no one really talks about it. But yeah, I just want to say, like, I have a question, like, what do you think, like, the men, they don't really like appreciate the woman coming out and saying all this stuff? Like, for me, bro, it's like mad thing, man. It's like amazing that these women are doing this, bro.
Yes, brother, mad thing. Are you from Australia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Australia?
Sorry?
Whereabouts in Australia?
Sydney.
Teach me some Australian lingo, bro. You guys say brah, right? Brah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a lot of the UK slang also came to Australia as well.
No way.
Yeah. Like a lot of people say brav like as well, like with the Casilla coming up and that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The UK stuff scene is like really prominent in Australia as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what was your question, bro? Bruh, sorry.
It was like what was my question? Why do you think the men they get turned off by all this, the women coming out with all these crazy designs? Bro, I'm ready to mash right now, bro, but I'm gonna get married soon.
This is haram.
Why are you laughing, bro?
Why do I think? I think they associate. They are tying Muslim women who have this feeling towards the religion, and it's almost as though they're like an embarrassment to the religion. Basically, they feel like these women are embarrassing Islam. We should hide them. We should not talk about these women. Astaghfirullah, they're just weirdos. I think it's something along those lines, or maybe it's something to do with culturally. As Muslims, we don't tend to talk about these things at all, for that matter. So anything even remotely related to this discussion is sort of like
this is like the first time I'm hearing it.
Right. And then you see the stuff that you've seen in the slideshow, and it's just mind-blowing for people who see it the first time around.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a mixture of the two, basically. That's my 2 cents anyway.
Alhamdulillah, man. That's what I'm saying. It's enlightening, bro. Actually really enlightening. Can't wait, inshallah.
Hey, my guy, man, like ish. Yalla, habibi. Take care.
Yalla, bro. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, man's ready, bro. He's ready. All right. Gron.
Oh, Mahdi.
Yes. What are you saying,
How's
bro?
it? Oh, shout out to Ish. He's hilarious.
Oh, you know him?
No. He's Australian, brother, right?
Are you Australian as well?
Funny. I'm from New Zealand.
Oh, righto. Righto,
shout out to him. He was crack up.
Yeah, what are you saying, bro? Alhamdulillah. Where are you from? As in originally.
Originally, I was born in South Africa, actually, originally.
No way.
My family
Okay.
immigrated to New Zealand.
Do you speak Afrikaans?
No, there's lots of different like community, like South Africa is very diverse. But there's the Dutch and then there's the English.
Oh yeah. That's
So
right.
the
yeah.
Afrikaans, and I actually left South Africa when I was very young, so I didn't go through the school system.
Okay, right.
So I've been in New Zealand. I'm I'm Kiwi basically. Like spent most of my life here.
Right. Okay, cool. Yes, Grant, what you got for me, bro?
Yeah, so I'm revert, like 21 days now, counting.
Mashallah,
Alhamdulillah.
mashallah. Mashallah,
But
mabruk, bro.
yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you. The things that I'm learning is very interesting, and I find this community like there's so much depth to this community because especially as a revert, there's a lot of information that I don't have access to. Like I'm sort of like an orphan child, for this. I don't have any Muslim friends. I came to Islam without having any connection to.
So what's your story?
Any community.
How did you come to Islam? What's your story?
Well, actually, Mahdi, you were also an influence. Like
Wow.
Alhamdulillah,
Okay,
of course.
subhanallah.
Yes, because there was certain things that I picked up on recently. A year ago, I had no serious faith, and I was going through a bad place. It was about a year ago, and I've been around the block, Mahdi. I've actually just turned 30, so I've been around. I've seen some of the world, and when I was a bit younger, I've actually always been theologically very curious.
Okay.
Very curious theologically. So even when I was very young boy, I was trying to understand. And I went through a phase in my 20s where I was studied Buddhism. I went to Hare Krishnas. I did going to church and Christian churches and learning obviously Christianity. And nothing ever stuck. But a year ago, so then I just was agnostic for a long time, or just not participating in faith. But then a year ago, I was in my car and there was just so much pain I had in my shoulders. And I put my hands up, alhamdulillah, and I just said, God, I need you. I actually need you. I can't go forward in this life without you. So that next day was very peaceful for me, very peaceful in the next day. And I knew that I needed to lean into what I had found, that I discovered something and I learned something. So I didn't quite know what that meant for me, but many months later, and because I had already done this research earlier, I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, okay, now I have faith, but do I go to church with the churches around me? And this is actually a small comment on the Muslims that I've met. Whenever as a revert I speak about Christianity, they're very touchy. They don't want, but I can understand that maybe they don't want me to badmouth and this type of thing, but I can only speak from my experience. And the churches around me, they tend to be the preacher is the center of it all. He's the idol. And there's a lot of that energy and a lot of posturing and big talk, wearing fancy watches and Rolexes, and it just seems a bit fake to me, to be honest. So for some reason, Islam was coming up in my feed. I think it started with learning about Mike Tyson having a connection to Islam, and then I just started doing a little bit more digging. It's like, oh, Cat Stevens, I love Cat Stevens, and then oh, of course, Muhammad Ali, of course, and then learning about all these rappers that had converted, and I thought to myself, all of these people, they have been given all of the blessings in this dunya. They've lived extraordinary lives with a lot of blessings, yet they're unsatisfied. And where do they find their satisfaction? In Islam. Well, I need to learn more about this. What is going on here? So some of your videos have been very helpful.
Wow. Okay.
So thank you,
subhanallah.
alhamdulillah.
Because I don't consider this a dawah channel, but I'm intrigued to know what was it that you saw in the videos that helped direct you towards Islam, because it's not really a dawah channel through and through. Obviously, my Islam sometimes.
I think what I'm picking up on is the peace, especially with this day and age. Like, a lot of men don't have peace. And I just started to notice a pattern that a lot of Muslim men that, you know, they had peace. Like, either they were reverts and they had found peace, or they were strong Muslim men and they had peace. They had that they were like a mountain, you know, they weren't going to be moved.
SubhanAllah. Do you know what this reminds me of? There's an ayah, a verse in the Quran where Allah says, "Ala bi dhikrillahi litatma'inna al-qulub," and the translation is, "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do the hearts find rest." This peace that you're referring to can only be found in the remembrance of Allah. It's fascinating that you've associated the two just naturally, instinctually, because this is something that Allah talks about in the Quran.
And this is something, there's a word for it, and forgive me, because a lot of the phrases and a lot of the language that I just still have not learned, but there is something where the faith, you have it by birth and we forget it. As children, we have this like connection to God, and then we forget. As we get older, sometimes we sort of get led astray, but it's still there. And yeah, I think you're right that we all have the ability to actually recognize what. Well, actually, let me expand on this, because really, ultimately, what I realized is that you're going to be a slave to something in this world. And what I realized is I was being a slave to consumerism. I was being a slave to like social media. I was being a slave to all these earthly things that really they're not giving me much in return. And it's sort of like, coming from a secular background and a Western perspective, I just feel like a lot of the things in the West, it's sort of like a big trick, you know? Oh, these things are for you. Independence and freedom. This is in your best interest to have ultimate individual freedom. But actually, when you start recognizing that these things actually don't serve us, they are things that we want, we desire for. Actually, on the theme of this call, these are desires that both men and women want. But not always do these things serve us. Ultimately, what serves us is worshipping Allah. Alhamdulillah. And so when I found that out, is like a secret. And to be honest, like the Muslim community is holding a secret.
SubhanAllah.
Like,
Wow.
Like, if white people discover Islam like they discovered yoga, like, it's game over.
That's a great title. If white people discovered Islam like they discovered yoga, it's game over.
It's brilliant. Game over, because it's really a serious, like, it provides such a deep connection in our humanity. So I'm very proud Muslim.
MashaAllah.
So I'm telling my parents, I'm telling my friends and family slowly. It's kind of a thing to sort of come out, especially because I don't have any like Muslim friends. So it's like they look at me like, probably like you're thinking like, what is this person? Why? How? But
well, I would be honored to be your first Muslim friend, Grant.
Oh, alhamdulillah, that would be amazing. Thank you.
We can be online pen pals.
Yeah, of course. I'm always in the stream. I'll be around. I also wanted to like ask a question on the topic of today.
Of course, yes,
and
please do.
Because I don't have these lessons or these things that I can sort of draw on in terms of culture, in terms of like courting women. That's why I was laughing at Ish, because he's so ready to go. He's like ready to mash. I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I've been out in the streets and I've done crazy things, and so I don't really know how to approach it. Like, I know that I need to sort of keep chastity for marriage. I know that I need to find a woman that's going to, I don't know, I guess, come with me in this dunya in serving Allah and worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so, yeah, do you have advice for like a new revert about, connecting with women in the community, what I should do, because all this like stuff, the physical stuff, I can do all that. That's easy. It's easy. I've been there, done that. I can do it again, but I just don't know really from the Muslim perspective, from the Islamic perspective, how I should go about finding a partner. Like I don't
Right.
really know anything about that.
Okay, let's start with the basics. The first thing I would say is, as honored as I am that you watch my content, and I really appreciate that, as a new Muslim, there is a greater priority for you to seek knowledge on the basics of the religion. So that would be learning how to pray, learning the basic things to say in prayer. And I'm going to mention prayer a lot because the foundation of the religion is built upon prayer, and that is praying. It's the only pillar out of the 5 pillars. It's the only one that we have to do every single day. The others, fasting is once a year, Hajj is once in a lifetime, Zakat is once a year, La ilaha illallah, you've already said it. After that, it's just salah. That's the only one that we have to do every single day, and it's the pillar, or one of the pillars of the religion. So you want to spend time learning the basics of the religion and take it easy. Don't try and overwhelm yourself by trying to learn too much at once. After that, as quickly as possible, you want to surround yourself or find good Muslim friends that you can befriend, because right now you're on a high, right? You're on that high, new Muslim. It's a beautiful high to be on as well. It's like when a Muslim first starts practicing the religion again after having gone off the rails, he's on high as well. So whilst you're on this high, the next thing you're going to want to do is seek out good company. Why? Because the wolf devours the lone sheep. You're not going to make it too long on your own. So I don't know what type of area do you live. Do you live in a remote area? Is it a town, a village, a city? What type of area do you live in?
I live in like a suburban area, and the closest masjid is like 5 or 6 kilometers away. And then I've been going to one a little bit further out because it's in the city center, and that was where I did my shahada, and the people I met there were very, very good.
Right. So then you're going to want to go back to that masjid, inshallah, and then find a couple of brothers that, number one, you can befriend, and therefore you have good company around you. And then number 2, maybe they can even take you under their wing and just teach you the basics of the religion. That's the most important thing, because a lot of the time what happens with new reverts is that they embrace the religion, but what a lot of the dawah channels are not talking about is that there is a large exodus of reverts leaving the religion as well. Why? Because they don't have the support structure in place. They enter the religion and then they just kind of left to their own devices. So you want to find a couple of good brothers that you can befriend and be that good company, the company that you need, so that you're not the lone sheep that gets devoured by the wolf, right? And then after that, you're going to want to spend more time consuming content online that pertains to teaching you the basics of the religion. And my channel is not a da'wah channel, so my channel is not a priority for you. And again, I really appreciate your kind words, but as a new Muslim, my channel is not a priority for you. The priority is to learn the basics of the religion, starting with the salah.
And salah is like such a blessing. I'm trying to do when I learned that it was the 5 salahs each day. Oh, Fajr is very hard, Mahdi. I'm trying so hard. And this is something of a question for like being a Muslim. What happens if I'll try and do all 5 and I'll catch up. But I went to the masjid last night, and the brothers there were like, yeah, relax, man. Like, you're like, we sometimes miss one or whatever. It's understandable. Don't try and, but for me in my heart, I know that this is the outline.
Let me refute those brothers. Okay. There's a number of things, many things that the religion is easy with. Yeah, the religion is easy. Ad-dinu yusra. The religion is easy. Salah is not one of those things. There is absolutely no movement on salah. Allah says in the Quran, "Inna salata kanat ala al-mu'minina or mu'minuna." Correct me if I've said it wrong, please. My grammar. Kitaban mawquta. Verily, the salah has been prescribed upon the believers at set times. It's the only thing that there's absolutely no movement on whatsoever. If you take care of your salah, everything else is going to fall into place for you. That's why I just spoke about the salah. I didn't speak about anything else. Don't worry about anything else, bro. Even if I speak to a sister, sometimes sisters speak to me that like, bro, I really want to wear hijab, but you know, I'm not praying right now, so I don't want to wear hijab. I feel like a hypocrite. And I say to them, sister, forget about the hijab. Don't worry about covering up. Just start praying your salah on time, all the time. Why? Because if you get the head right, the body will follow. Salah will quite literally fix you. So those brothers who gave you that advice, I'm sorry, I have to refute them. That's moist advice, and they should know better than to say something like that. That's weak.
Yeah, I think maybe I understand. I think maybe they're sort of not trying to like overwhelm me. Maybe they're worried that like as a revert, I'm going to get overwhelmed.
That's fine. If they said that for you, then that's okay because you're the new revert. But for them to say sometimes that they miss it themselves, we don't accept this. This is not acceptable. We don't accept this. So you, as a new revert, of course, Yani, it's something that takes getting used to, getting up at 3-4 in the morning and splashing your body with cold water. It takes getting used to, you know. But so long as just you put it in the front of your mind, you're doing this for the sake of Allah. Allah's gonna find a way to make. He will find a way to make it easy for you. He will find a way to make it easy for you. In the same way he guided you to the religion in the first place, in the same way he will make salah easy for you as well. And once you get into a habit, like all habits, bro, it becomes like breathing. You don't really think about it, to be honest. You know, it's just like clockwork.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mahdi. You're a champion. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Gran. Appreciate it, my man. Habibi, look after yourself.
Take care.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum. What a legend. What a legend. That's made my day, man. Shout out to Grant. And somebody put rightfully in the chat as well that Grant's comment needs to become a soundbite. if white people discover Islam like they discovered yoga, it's over. What a legend, mashallah. Danish, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Mahdi. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, very good. What are you saying, my man?
Just quickly, I'm outside. Is the wind bothering at all?
It's okay. It's okay. Hit me. Bismillah.
All right, cool. Yeah, so just like Grant, man, I'm a revert as well.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
Back-to-back reverts, mashallah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of like you also had a role in my, reverting as well. I wouldn't say it was like transformational, but it was a cherry on the cake, cherry on the cake.
Okay.
So it's basically like, I'm gonna give a little bit of background, okay? Because I'm sure there's many people. I'm sure this audience is young, I'm 23 right now. I was born in Pakistan. I came to Canada. I'm currently in Ontario, and I came here at the age of 13. So I wasn't really belonging to that country, nor did I belong to this country. Stuck in the middle. So coming here, the environment really influenced me because I was growing up, and let's just say I was thinking in a different language. Back home, I was thinking in Urdu, so a whole different persona. Here, I was developing the thought in the English language, if that makes sense, And along the way, I was very much influenced by all the things, and even though I knew, like, alhamdulillah, my family taught me everything, and I left the religion of Islam. The main thing that drove me away, it was like a two-part thing, right? Where I remember learning in Islam school, in Islam's classes, that the biggest enemies of Islam were the hypocrites. And let me tell you, Mahdi, I felt like a hypocrite every time I would come across, everyone and say, Salaam alaikum. And I knew I was a Muslim by name, taking it for granted. But I didn't feel it in me, yo. So growing up, just this hypocrisy was like irking my soul, bro. And so this one time I was just like, Khalas, Allah, if you're out there, I need guidance. I'm gonna go out wild and full on jahiliyyah, But along the way, alhamdulillah, I think it's, the prayers of everyone around me that kept getting the message to me. Came closer and closer and closer to the point where, let's just say, okay, is this true that having a woman in your life is like completing half your deen?
I can't. I think this hadith is authentic, but I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know. My answer.
All right. So to put it shortly, this past Ramadan, my wife is, or we basically got a nikah. So my wife is from Iran, right? And she didn't grow up in a Shia Islam, none of that. She was westernized over here. But in the last Ramadan that just went in the past 10 days, just seeing her pray and try and figure this stuff out, somehow I just felt guilty. And man, I started to pray without no faith or nothing. And it was like I had to take the steps towards Allah for me to feel that. And just like how Grant said, and you were mentioning, the past 2 weeks, I was on this spiritual high, man. And all of a sudden, I was like, wait a second. I'm not feeling it no more. What's happening? Am I screwing up somewhere? Oh man, this world is quite the lure. So yeah, I basically came back to Islam in a sense where now, like if Grant, if you're listening, man, once you realize that you're doing it for the sake of Allah, like I love Allah more than I love myself. I've never had this kind of love in my heart, bro. And waking up at Fajr, sleep deprived, honestly, autopilot. Just wake up, do your wudu, ghusl, do your prayers, and then, take care of all the human stuff on this earth. But man, putting Allah in front of yourself and your desires, you're right. I didn't want to be slave to no human desires, consumerism, none of that. What's the point of all of this? Because, man, the greatest will in existence and beyond existence is the will of Allah. And to be a slave to that, bro, it's such a blessing to be able to do this, to do the 5 times salah. And coming back to you, Mahdi. So, not gonna lie, Tate had a little bit.
Your sound's gone a bit funny.
Yeah, so Tate did have a role. Sheikh Tate had a bit of role to play where he was mentioning Islam is going to be the, next religion. And I was like, yo, this guy's never lied. And he's speaking the truth. Maybe I'm missing out on something. And then I saw you, and yeah, your channel is not a Dawah channel, but to have you embody the conversations that are repressed in our community, the conversations that need to be had to strengthen our ummah, that's what you're doing. And that was like, okay, I'm on the right path. Like you were basically a confirmation in the sense that the thing that drove me away was the lack of this conversation, the lack of awareness, the lack of knowledge. And bro, you're doing such an important part in having this conversation. So I've noticed in my life that now when I'm going about, doing my day-to-day stuff, living my life, not being the top 1% financially, but I hope that you're able to see where I'm coming from and get the vibe, right? Yeah. So my wife notices how I interact with other guys and compares them, like subconsciously. I notice how her mind is working behind the scenes. I notice how other guys are starting to look up to me in the sense that, okay, he doesn't have his finances right, but something's going on. He must be doing something right. And I just want some guidelines in a sense where I don't want to inspire that lifestyle that, So how do I keep myself in check but continue to be the best version I possibly can? Because I would like to continue the whole tradition of all like big families, big house, live together, pool your resources, strengthen the iman, like brotherhood within amongst me and my own brother. But it terrifies me. I saw one of the posts, I'm not going to mention which one, but if I'm in a family situation where my brother's wife, na'uzubillah, starts to compare, let's say, which leads to the relationships degrading, I don't want to be that person. Instead, I want to be the proactive in the sense where I want my brother to be strong with me.
So what question do you really want to ask them?
Basically, instead of giving dawah to other people, I wanna help strengthen my own relationship with my brother. How do I start? By making these positive impacts in my house, where these relationships are taken far too for granted, because other guys who don't know me, who meet me for the first time, they really value my words, but I don't quite value their relationship as much as I value my own brothers. but he doesn't.
That's
You know what I
normal.
mean?
Familiarity breeds contempt. You see?
Yeah, yeah.
Familiarity. My family are the same with me. You know, for familiarity. When you know someone too well, you know their flaws. You know, like, bro, you poop like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really know what to tell you, bro, other than just do your best. You know, maybe I don't know if I'm even qualified to answer this, to be honest with you. Do your best, khalas.
No problem, man. No problem. And I did want to contribute to the conversation, which, you know, basically clickbaited me in. And in that is that I believe in a relationship, it's like a ladder. You have the skills, performance, let's say, and you have the beliefs. I'm at the point where I'm starting to understand you gotta have the skills, or you gotta have the belief first to develop the skills in order to go up that ladder in terms of intimacy, in terms of the satisfaction. So whoever is listening to this, brother, you have to believe this is possible, because yeah, Allah has designed us men and women, and we both play a part. But I don't know who was speaking about 2 people ago, but it sounded like there was some sort of disbelief, and that person was sharing that, nah, this is not possible. But listen, you have to observe reality for what it is, see where you stand in that spectrum, and believe that a healthy relationship that is halal is possible, but not without you going beyond your comfort zone.
Danish, I appreciate you coming on, my man, and thank you for sharing your story as well. And alhamdulillah, welcome back to the fold, Habibi.
Thank you, Mahdi. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, 2 reverts back to back. Alhamdulillah, beautiful, mashallah. All right, let's see now how we're going to do this. We're 145. Muhammad Qasim, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
We can hear you, bro. It sounds like you're speaking into a bottle.
Wait a minute, I will fix it.
All right, hold up.
Okay.
Hold on. Dr. Dervish, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you, brother? I'm going to have both of you on the stream at the same time, inshallah. Okay, Dr. Dervish, what are you saying, akhi?
Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you, akhi?
I'm fine. I'm calling from India. It's 4 a.m. here.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah. What you got for me, bro? What's your question?
On this topic, I've had experiences with 2 types of women, basically 2 women. So the first one was a bit of a control freak, like a high performing, high achieving type of a girl. And the next one was fairly mild mannered, submissive kind of.
Okay.
So the first one had these kind of weird and violent kind of fantasies, is what I observed.
Okay.
Whereas the second one is more mellow, more vanilla kind of. So I appreciate that you have put both kinds of messages on your stream today. So I felt that it depends on the personality of the women as well.
100%.
And this is not the first time I've heard of this. You're familiar with Reddit, I guess, Reddit website.
Which one?
I've seen Reddit, REDDIT.
Yeah, Reddit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some disturbing stuff there. Like there was a couple, they were unable to control themselves during the time of the month, if you understand.
A'udhu billah. Nasty.
Yeah. And there was one more thing that it's not allowed to finish in the mouth, if you know what I mean. So someone was able to control that as well. Muslim couple.
I don't know if it's not allowed or not, by the way, and it's I'm not here to give fatwas. I don't know. I don't know to that.
Generally accepted that you can do it, but you're not allowed to finish. So it has been going on, and it was the woman asking the question in the Muslim marriage Reddit subreddit. So it has been going on. This is not new for me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I appreciate you sharing that, Dr. Dervish. Jazakallah khairan.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Muhammad, tafadhal akhi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa
The voice
alaikum
is now
assalam.
better.
That's
right?
much better.
Okay.
Actually, I was on your stream before, but I think it was maybe a year ago.
Okay, mashallah. Good to have you back.
Yeah.
So what's your question, Akh? تفضل.
I have actually some thoughts on the topic you've discussed or brought on the table. Actually, I was surprised that I actually was more surprised about that those women would express these fantasies, even if it was anonymous. It's kind of odd. Like for me, I'm a man, right?
How old are you? How old are you, Muhammad?
27.
27. How many times have you been married? How many wives do you have?
None.
None. Have you ever been married before?
No.
That's why you find it surprising.
Yeah, of course. I guess, but as for me personally, I don't even use this language in the first place. Like these words they were using, but what I think, and I think a brother before mentioned it, that many of those sisters might have been exposed to certain things we as Muslims actually have to abstain from. But let's be honest, like in the West, it is hard to abstain from visual stuff at all. Like with the internet.
I'm less along that line of thinking. I am more along the line of thinking that masculinity in general has been so repressed that in combination with the fact that Muslim women are expected to behave in a particular type of way. Number one, they have no outlet to express themselves as non-Muslim women or non-practicing Muslim women would do on social media, putting pictures of themselves, getting attention from men and so on. So they're not getting that attention from anywhere at all. And then they can't actually express this because they will be frowned upon. So then it goes inside and it turns into this dark shadow, right? And it starts festering and building and becoming even more extreme because it has nowhere to vent and express itself. And then when she finally gets married, she finally has somewhere to vent and express this side to her. Now, obviously, it's a spectrum. Not all women are like this, and I couldn't tell you how many are, but it's a sizable enough percentage of the population of Muslim women and women in general, but we're talking about Muslim women right now who feel this way. And I don't think it's a pathology. I don't think there's necessarily something abnormal about it. And again, I've been with a number of women, okay, in marriage and halal, of course, and some of them can relate to this and some of them can't. But it's more common than you would think. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, I guess even nowadays we should expect that, but what I was also thinking about that back in the days, men and women generally got married very early in age.
Yes.
So they, for the most part, I don't think they had to bother too much about how it's done and I want this and whatever. And also there was not so much exposure, like there was no internet,
of course,
no visual things and whatsoever.
Muhammad, I'm gonna, just to keep the quality of the stream up, I'm going to bring on the next caller, but you make an excellent point. Barakallahu fiqh. Jazakallahu khair, Akhi Muhammad. All right, I'm gonna bring a couple more on and then we'll make this a wrap. King of Pips, Assalamu alaikum.
What's up, Mahdi? How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. So I've been watching your content for about a couple months, like really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm 22. My name's Omar, Pakistani, and yeah, so I resonate with a lot of your content. I've gone to university. I went to Brunel. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
university is quite a prominent
Yep.
university for like Muslim university students, and spoken to like various types of people, guys, girls, different ethnicities, Muslims, non-Muslims. But from what I'm seeing anyway, it's like there's a big problem when it comes to like the Muslim girls who are studying. What they're doing is essentially they're kind of shifting their mindset where they're focusing more on just like getting a job, securing a career, and they're essentially their priority is, oh, let me focus on getting a career, then essentially get married afterwards. So like get married at like 23, 24, 25. But then it's like, as you were saying, from 18 to 24, those are like the best years. So they're essentially already at a disadvantage, like 3 years, 4 years they've used up. So they're like 22, 23. And then when they get their job, they're going to be like 24, 25. And then they're looking for marriage. And then it's like, they're trying to secure that
Tell
guy.
me, what question has this brought up in your mind?
Yeah, so the question is essentially, it's like, as Muslim guys, so like myself, I'm not married, and how are we able to essentially deal with situations like this?
Like what?
So dealing with like women who are more career driven, they don't want to essentially be traditional housewives.
So this is a tough one. I mean, look, you probably heard the stat that I've quoted a few times, that by 2030, 45% of all prime-aged working women, that's 25 to 45, will be single and childless. That's enormous, right? And as women become more educated and as they begin to earn more and they climb the career ladder even higher, they will be less likely to accept men for marriage. Hence why I quoted the statistic from Jordan Peterson's podcast before that. There's a correlation. The more educated a woman becomes, the less likely it is that she will ever get married. Fact. Right? There's a direct correlation. Why? Because she's hypergamous. If she becomes a PhD graduate, well, then she just wants men who are also PhD graduates or professors or more for that matter. She ain't going to marry no guy with some bachelors. It's unlikely anyway. Right? It's unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's unlikely. So they kind of shoot themselves in the foot. On the one hand, they want to get their careers and so on, but on the other hand, they still want a man who's doing better than herself. So when you ask me what's the solution, I don't know. I really don't know what the solution is, because we are heading 2030, 45% of all women are going to be single and childless. But I don't know what the solution is. Solution, and for me as a small-time content creator, is to keep putting out this type of content and to kind of like give the younger girls who are about to enter university themselves a bit of a wake-up call. Aside from that, I don't really know, bro. I don't really know.
Yeah, so my main struggle is essentially like I've got like quite a bit of a following as well. I've got like 7.7k followers on Instagram.
Okay.
Essentially I've got multiple streams of income. I'm earning quite a bit amount. I'm earning about 1 to 1.5k a week.
Mashallah.
And essentially what I'm having struggles with, like I've come in contact with like a lot of sisters, and they're essentially, they agree with all my profile and the requirements and stuff like that, but the only one that they're not giving up is their essentially career. And it's just like, because I want someone more towards traditional housewife. That's what essentially my mum is essentially. So I want like a blueprint similar to that, you know what I'm saying? For it to be like work, because I work long hours, I work a lot of hours, I work like 60 hours a week. You know, like I don't essentially have time to be like coming home and stuff. Oh yeah, there's like no food at home, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So like this is what I'm just kind of having this you know, problem.
Just the way you
it's like
pitch
a lot
it, the way when you pitch it to a girl, instead of saying, "Oh, I want you to stay at home," you can pitch it differently. You can pitch it, you know, I want to take care of you. I want you to be comfortable. I want to pay for your bills. I don't want you to have to work and pay for your bills. I want to pay for your bills so that you can sit at home and watch Netflix and chill.
100%.
You know?
I said that as well. Like I've spoken to like the dads, and the dads have told me, oh, you know, my daughter's gonna get bored at home. She's gonna be watching Netflix all day. And I was like, oh, respectfully, uncle, like you got married to somebody who was in Pakistan, and then that woman who you're married to is a traditional housewife, but then you're expecting your future son-in-law to not have that same type of dynamics in society. It's a bit of hypocrisy, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? They just want to take what they can.
Like we go around in circles as human beings, you know, like what you said just now. So that's how the women of his generation were raised. But then as a result of that, they want to become educated and so on. And now we're in a time where all the women are educated and so on, and we want them to go back to traditional roles. And then when eventually over the next 100 years or however long it takes, they go back to traditional roles, no doubt they'll want to come out and get back into the workplace again, and round in circles we go.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thank you so much, Mahdi. I'm just gonna carry on doing what I'm doing, and you know what I'm saying. I guess the right person's gonna come in, who's gonna essentially agree with.
Well, bro, you sound like you're well put together. You sound like a man who's doing well for himself. I have no doubt, inshallah ta'ala, you're gonna have plenty of suitors coming your way sooner or later, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah, and I appreciate it. But yeah, keep up the good work, Mahdi. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Habibi. Take care.
Take care, man. Well, take care. Take
care. King of Pips, actually, if you're still there, this brother here, Mahdi, tell King of Pips to give us his money-making tips. What you do, bro, is email me, inshallah. Maybe we can set up a stream. I'll have to see what it is that you do. Maybe we can set up a stream, inshallah. My wife just did a poll on her story to find out the age demographic of all the sisters who voted. And 41%, whoa, there's actually there's 7% of them were aged between 13 and 17. Yeah, between 13 and 17. 41% were aged between 18 to 24. 48% 25 to 35, and 4% were 35 plus. The one that gets me the most are the 7% that were between the ages of 13 and 17. Hey, there you go. All right, one more and we'll be out of here. Ahmed, salaam alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. You hear me, brother?
I can hear you, bro. What are you saying, Akhi?
How are you, bro? Mashallah, mashallah. Wallah, my heart is touched from this conversation tonight. Wallah, our brother Grant, he just made a whole U-turn. We're over here talking about this and that, and wallah, this guy really touched my heart. You know, he made this all about, he took it from fahisha to taqwa. This guy, this brother, I love him, wallah. You know, I was going to ask you, being that you were once, you had 3 wives at one point, I was going to ask you if you ever had a threesome or you ever considered it. But so wallah, I feel ashamed now, brother. But yani, enlighten me.
You asked me now, bro.
I'm sorry, brother.
You can't say I don't want to ask you, but I want to ask you this, and then but I don't want to ask you, bro. You khalas, you put me on the spot.
I apologize, brother. Well, I don't know if it's haram even, but yani, enlighten me, brother. Well, I look up to you. I swear you know, you provide some of the best footage. Well, I look forward to every day you upload a new video. I look forward to it.
What I'll say is this, is that if I did, it would be impermissible for me to say yes. Okay, because I would have to hide my sin. But I can tell you, no, I haven't. All right. But if I did, it's not permissible for me to reveal that because it would be a sin. You see?
I see. I see. Do you know if it's haram or if it's something that is permissible within the deen?
Say that again?
Do you know if it's permissible in our deen?
No, to the best of my knowledge, it's definitely not permissible, bro.
Okay. Mashallah. Mashallah. Wallah, you know, wallah, I just want to say that I started making salah within maybe the last month and a half. And brother, I'm telling you, you don't realize, you don't figure that you're somebody that's an influencer to the ummah, but I promise you are. You know, I look up to you. I look up to brother Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawa, Daniel Hakikachu, and I'm telling you, don't underestimate yourself, brother. You actually heighten our iman more than you know.
Wow, that's deep, bro. Wallahi, I'm honored. I feel honored. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And you know what? That's a beautiful place to end this stream, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallah khair to our brother Ahmed. That's made my day. Quite a few of you have made my day today. Danish, Grant, Ahmed. Jazakumullah khair. Wallah, I appreciate you guys sharing your stories. Guys, if you want to connect with me, there are a number of ways you can do so. You can join my Patreon, which is basically, Patreon is, the ball is in your court. You ask me questions and I'll answer your questions on video format for Patreon members only. You can see my Patreon links in this banner here down below. Make sure you follow me on Instagram if you're not already. At the Mahdi Tijani, once again, you can see in the banner. And if you want to book a private consultation, you are welcome to do that. The link, or the email rather, I should say, to do so is in the description of all of my videos, and it will be in the description of this one shortly soon as well. And don't forget, myself, AbuAmerican, and Abdul Malik will be having a meetup, inshallah, in the next month or so, where we will be inviting you guys down to come and join us for a lovely evening, inshallah ta'ala. The date has not been confirmed yet, but just keep your eye out on my channel, AbuAmerican's channel, and Muhammad Malik's Instagram page as well. It will be in London as well, of course. And I think that's everything. Beautiful conversations today, man. Really appreciate it, and I'm really humbled. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.